Today I'm gonna cook some very nice lamb. I'm gonna do it a little bit like, actually like a Danish rullesteg we call this, a rolled roast, and we fill it up with. Normally we do it with pork, and we do it with plums and all kinds of things in it. But I'm gonna do it with lamb today. It's gonna be a little bit like a lamb porchetta in a Danish way, I think. So let's start up with some onions and shallots. We have some prunes here. Have a little bit of cranberries, dried cranberries. That gives a nice slight bitterness and slight fruitiness to it, and it's very nice to have inside. I'm gonna use a little stick of butter and a lot of herbs. I got some mint and I got some rosemary, thyme, sage. It's also very nice to use in this. But I think the combination of mint and rosemary is gonna work really well with the lamb. And I got my lamb here. This is the piece that's on the side here, like you call it actually a lamb breast, but that's along the ribs here. So it's a nice thin piece of meat, not that fatty, and it's really good for just covering and rolling up a lot of flavor in it. And then we have a little bit of this skin and fat on the other surface here, and hopefully that's gonna be nice and golden and have this great cooking flavor from the grill inside. So we're gonna start up actually before chopping up a lot of stuff. Whoa, stay, my friend. I'm just gonna start off seasoning the meat. So some salt and pepper. And this we're gonna do on both sides. And don't be shy, just use a lot of salt and pepper. Get it in there, get it working, start to pushing in some flavors. And then let's do the filling. So, and now the police are here, I think. The police chopper is coming. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. But we're just gonna chop up some garlic, quite finely. Is Copenhagen like the crime capital of Europe? Oh, I don't think so. So we're just gonna cut up some garlic quite finely, so we don't have too big pieces. Of course, this is gonna be quite slow roasted and roasted by a low temperature, so it's gonna cook through. But still, it's never nice to have like big chunks of garlic in your food. So that's there. Just gonna do some shallot onions. Shallot is definitely my favorite onion. You can use a red onion instead, and you're gonna have a little bit less work. But the flavor of shallot is kind of has a herbiness to it that's really great. It's not just onion taste. It has something extra. So I like it for the more lighter meats, and I really like it for the fish as well. But I always use shallots in my cooking. But again, if it's a red onion you have lying around, you're gonna use a red onion for this, and it's gonna be beautiful anyway. So that's there. Just gonna take some of the mint. And some of the rosemary, and chop that up as well. So we're gonna have a mix of sweet, floral, perfumic, sour, bitter, umami tastes inside the lamb, hopefully working the meat from the inside. And that should also give us like the whole palate. I think it's extremely important when you're cooking. Also cooking for fun. The first thing you have to think about and actually work with this, using all the getting all the 5 taste buds in your mouth activated. So you got the sour, the bitterness, the sweetness, the umami and the saltiness going on. if all this is activated in a meal, we get happy in our heads. That's just, I think that's maybe because that's why Danish people are so happy. We we eat we get all the areas in our mind activated just by eating. Maybe also because that's why we're a little bit big. So a nice heap of herbs here. So we're just gonna take our prunes, just chop them up a little bit. I wanted to have a quite rustic Italian feeling to it, even though it's a bastard mix between the Danish cooking and the Italian cooking and yeah, gourmet cooking. Of course, the prunes are gonna give it a lot of sweetness and a lot of like yumminess to it, I think. And the sweetness is it's a very nice combination with the fresh herbs and like the taste, like a little bit gamey taste of the lamb. I really like that. And just a few handfuls of our cranberries. Get it mixed up. So, and I use this stuffing for a lot of kinds of meats. I use it again, as I said, for pork. It's very nice as well. But also stuffing a chicken breast with it is really, really nice as well. So let's get this going on. Just be sure that you have the outside with the skin and a little bit of fat layer on the outside. So we're just going to turn around. This is the inside. This is the closest thing to the ribs. And this is where we're going to put our filling. Just going to take a little bit of salt and pepper here as well. So, look at this. And that, you're definitely going to be sure when this is cooked through and all the flavors are going out to the meat, it's going to be awesome. Got our nice filling here. I'm just going to give it a little bit of butter. And it's a little bit because it a little bit depends on how the texture of your meat is, how the texture of a lamb breast is. Because you can get some that is pretty lean, and then a little bit of butter is just gonna make it more lush. And you can get some cuttings that are more fatty, and maybe you don't need that little butter inside. But I think this is a pretty lean meat. There's not a lot of fat on it, so I'm gonna just do a little butter to have this butter braising going on inside the lamb. So let's close it up and roll it up. And you're allowed to just use a little bit of muscle here to get it nice and firm. Of course, we're gonna roll it up with a string also, but just get a nice starting point with a nice firm roast. So, a lot of chefs and butchers, they have all these fancy techniques to binding up their roasts with knots, and they can do like almost artwork with string. But I'm more fast. I like to say I'm a fast cooking chef, but I'm also maybe a little bit of a lazy chef. So I'm just doing the easy way out here. I'm just doing a noose that I can tighten in the beginning here, like that. And then we're just gonna wrap it around and tightening every time we wrap it, but not doing any knots, not doing any fancy bondage thing here. We're just gonna go in and under and tighten. This is the fast way of doing it. I learned that other technique with all the knots and the fine way of doing it, but I quickly forgot it when I found out this was just as good and way faster. And it's also faster to get it off the roast again in the end. So just gonna do one or two more here and close it up. Make sure that, especially in the ends, that it's tight. So we leave all the flavor and the melting butter inside the meat, working its magic like that. So just gonna do a little nut here. Yeah. So we want to cook this on not traditionally grilling, not with the charcoal underneath. We want to do it in our rack holder so we get indirect heat. And that's the way to go about it when we're slow cooking. So get it up in the rack holder, and I should have done a proper big lamb here or a big roast. It's just inviting me to do big pieces of meat, but slow roasting. I'm getting this nice coloration and this barbecue taste, this barbecue feeling inside the meat. But this is gonna be so great. So I placed charcoal in the two charcoal holders here, so I don't have anything in the middle when I'm gonna place my rack holder. So like this. So I placed the charcoal in the dividers, so I don't have any heat directly underneath the meat. The meat is in my rack holder here, and it's gonna get a lot of indirect heat. It's gonna be a little bit out cooking in an oven, but you're gonna get that great barbecue flavor in there that you only can get outside. You can never recreate this in your kitchen. So just going on here, and I will leave this an hour, 1.5 hours maybe. This is comfort food. This is slow cooking. This is having time a Sunday outside in your garden with your family and friends, and maybe drinking a little bit too much wine until before the meat actually is cooked. But we're gonna keep ourselves busy doing a little bit of salads and garnish to this. But just remember to check on it once in a while. Maybe have to open or close the lid a little bit. Cooking outside and cooking with charcoal and in conditions like this is getting friends with your food. It's being close to your food and being aware of what you're doing. For me, it's meditational, and this is about taking care of the meal you're doing for your loved ones. So I think I'm gonna start it with half open and see how it goes from there. So my lamb has been cooking slow roasting for 1.5 hours approximately now. So I'm just gonna check. I've been checking it thoroughly all the time and been adjusting the heat, but it should be just around where I want it now. Look at this. This is just so beautiful. As I told you, I was aiming for the feeling of a lamb porchetta, like this Italian pork roast actually, with the crispy skins, and this just has that feeling to it. And it can almost taste, I think, through the camera, the love that's just in this dish here. Cooking stuff like this is just being good to your family. That's how it is. So this has just turned out so lovely. So don't try this at home. This is the chef fingers. They don't feel any pain anymore. from the shoulder down, there's no feeling left. So that went really beautiful. And with my little kale slaw, with my chilies, for me this is I just need a lump of nicely toasted bread. That's it, and an ice cold beer or a glass of nice red wine. This is fantastic, easy, fast cooking food for me, and yeah, nothing else but be happy about this. Oh, just listen to that crunchy. Wow. Yeah, I enjoy cooking this, and you will too. So just get started, eh?